All right, just checking in again, just having some coffee this morning, just waking up. So let's go back. Let's go back in time. Back in time. The truth has barely been told since the fall because the lie and the liars don't want to tell the truth. Jesus told the truth. He was the way, the truth, and the life. And a lot of people still don't believe it because they believe, they impart, and they ingest, and they birth lies, which is what the liar wants you to do. He doesn't want you to know the truth. So I'm trying to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God. Now, some people think a lot of stuff is what I say is fragmented, but I have 200 videos out here. It would take 1,000 years to download all this revelation. It would probably take 10,000 to write it all out. I asked the Lord why this wasn't written, and He said because the devil would make it a stronger stronghold. Because if he knew the truth, he would concoct more lies and be more deviant to keep you in bondage. So we can only tell so much of the truth so fast. I talked the other day about the timelines, and I did that several times about the timelines that we need to do the right thing no matter what. In Paul's writings, I believe it was. Don't call me on it, but I think it was one of the letters to the Ephesians, maybe, that you would do right because he was leaving, that they would do the right thing by God, do the good thing by God. And so sometimes all we can do is the right thing no matter what, the right thing no matter what. And this is but a temporal timeline that was skewed, that was cut, that was fragmented, that destroyed the lives of God's people. And then death. There is no death. There's just heaven or hell. And I know it's a fact. Just heaven or hell is just a fact. Now, what you do in this time affects eternal time, your eternity, your timeline continuum. If you're going to be locked in a cage or not to be or not to be in God's will. So it's all simple, people. These videos are not for the weak in knowledge per se, because you should have read enough of the book to know what's being said, and you should be able to Google a lot of phrases or words or sentences I say to get more meat. Like what happens today is the pastor spoon feeds you every bit, so you're just a bunch of fat babies. Or the talk in riddle. I asked the Lord, why do your prophets speak in riddle? Now, I know some of the stuff that I speak sounds kind of riddle, but it's not. It's in the book of Revelation and Genesis, the bookends, and in between. And I asked the Lord, why do your prophets speak in riddle? He says, because they can't handle the truth. I thought, wow. So the prophets can't handle the truth, and the people can't handle the truth. But why speak in riddle? Okay, we want the information straight up. So why can't I just give the information straight up? Which is what I try to do. I mean, some of these videos are 5 minutes, some of them are 20, 30 minutes, and I try to give you as much meat as I can for you to chew on. Now, it's up to you to look up the scripture. It's up to you to do some research to find out if what I'm saying is true. And a lot of it's spontaneous combustion. I get a revelation from Him from the third heaven. I wake up here again, and I try to hand it off. And then I work full time, and then some. And I'll have a little bit of time to say things, to do a video. I have very little time because my time is crowded, just like a lot of you that have to work a lot. And then the false witnesses, the false teachers and stuff, they don't work. They just backslap and have a good old time, and they're multimillionaires. And I would ask, what are they doing for the community? Here, much is given, much is required. I mean, are they like Mr. Potter on the It's a Wonderful Life story? Or are they like Scrooge You know, are they like these hellions and putting everybody in poverty and bondage while they live decently? Yeah, and that's why I said the wealth transfer is for us to help God's people. It's not for us to live like kings, it's for us to help God's people. It's about community. So a lot of people change the name of the churches to Community Church, Community Crossroads Church, which we can re-talk about. Community Crossroads. Crossroads are crossroads of the crosses, on the crossroads, cross on Calvary. One means death, one means Jesus, the blood of Christ, and the one means witness. So you got to kick death out of town and usher in the witnesses. Now the witnesses will do right by God to help the people. Like say, you put your hands together, boost your friend up in the apple tree, the pear tree, to pick you some apples and pears. When you go to heaven, they throw their crowns at your feet because we're going through the greatest amount of lies, the greatest amount of tribulation. So what do we do to get the people moving? But then some of it's so simple. You can't just pray for them and not give them fish or a loaf. If they're starving and you just prophesy and go, blah, 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 everything's going to be good, but you don't try to help them. Now, I don't have ways and means to help hardly anyone because I have to work full time. You know, I have a family that needs me and I must work. And I have enough to survive. I'm doing okay. But I don't have anything over the top. Like a lot of people have a lot in savings, or like I say, a lot of people are multimillionaires that are preach. But then are they preaching the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God? I don't know. So yes, I know I'll get judged harshly by the world. And when Elisha, he was the only one, he was the only farmer prophet. He had a barbecue, slayed his oxen, had a barbecue, and followed Elijah. Now there's a school of prophets, a whole school of prophets. Okay, there's a lot more than 42. There's 42, which is a definition of a foundation, which 4 corners, and then 2 witnesses. There was 42 young people that mocked him, said, "Go up, you bald head," which means they go up to heaven, you bleep and bleep, go up to heaven. You know, hit him, you know, and Elisha just like, wow. Elisha was a humble guy. He could handle the mantle of Elijah because he was a humble servant. The rest of them weren't. They were taunting him. They were bullies. But think about it. They came out of the school of prophets and they were bullies. So there's a lot of people who are prophetic, who are pathetic at best, and they're bullies. You know, test them by their love. You'll know they're Christians by their love. So they're bullies, and they're trying to manipulate, coerce, control people to get big money. Like they'll talk about the wealth transfer as if they're in. If you want in, you got to do this, you got to do that. You got to follow them. I'm telling you, the wealth transfer is for the ones who are trying to do the right thing, that are working, trying to get up out of bed every day, brush their teeth, and go to work in spite of being oppressed and depressed by the devil. You know, and there's times where the prophets, the true prophets, are depressed and oppressed because the world oppresses and depresses them because they have the revelation of God. And they're trying to do the right thing and trying to help many. So there's much more of a burden on us than it is most of the people. Because we care. We're trying to boost you up. We throw our mantles at your feet in a sense of setting you on fire like a rocket launch to go up to the third heaven, to go up to the marriage supper lamb. It's a humble thing. It's not a prideful thing. Yes, test them. And even the true ones get tested and thrown overboard, get kicked out of the church, and they don't want us around. And because the liars still own the earth. Go back to Genesis chapter 3. Go back to when Jesus was tried. Satan said he would give Jesus all these kingdoms. Okay, if he follows Satan. So that's how they earn their way to the top. They follow Satan. So somebody has big money. Find out what they're doing for the neighborhood, for their community, for their friends and neighbors. To me, that's the test you should put them to. And not beat up a lowly handyman who's trying to speak what the Lord is showing and what I'm hearing and believing. And when I go and talk with Jesus, everything's cool. Sometimes so casual, just like talking to you guys, and sometimes it just freaks me out because it's so shocking that the one who saved us, we're sitting down and talking like old friends. That can be very shocking. But then on the other hand, it's so full of love. He is so full of love. Love only comes from God. If we can impart a little bit here during the day, while we're working or between work, and we're not praying and clean, we don't have a great haircut, our eyebrows might not be perfect, and we're drinking coffee. But I just come to you from my pajamas sometimes and try to impart a word. So if you want me to be all preen and clean, go find yourself a bastard pastor or a bastard teacher. They may look good, smell good, and they might have the best video and the best YouTube channel. I'm just a guy. I'm just a friend of God. Just a friend of Jesus trying to help you today. So from me to you, sorry to dump on you, but people ask these questions and want me to be all preen and clean and, want to complain about my beard hair or my sideburns or the way I do the videos. When people want real, people want the truth. They want to legalize the truth. My Facebook page only reaches probably 5 people because I'm always in Facebook jail for telling the truth. They don't want the truth. The devil still owns the world. But does he own you? Let me ask you, does he own you? You don't have to tell me. You need to go look yourself in the mirror and see what you're doing in life. See if you're doing the right thing, the good thing, the godly thing. And judge thyself. Always prejudge yourself to try to do better today than yesterday. More better today. All right? God bless you guys. Appreciate you. Amen.